Hello students, welcome to part 22 of chapter Morphology of Flowering Plants, and today we are going to discuss about how to write a floral formula. Symbolic representation of flower. What are we going to represent here about the flower? About the symmetry of the flower, about the various floral whorls that are present, their number, how many members of that whole are present, whether they show cohesion, that is whether they are attached to the members of the same wholes, or adhesion. Adhesion is when if they are attached to the members of the other wholes. All these things we can describe using a formula. It is similar to the formulas that we use in algebra or mathematics. Here, with this formula, using certain symbols, we can represent or describe the entire flower. This is called as a floral formula. It's very interesting. Let us see. The different symbols that are used in writing a floral formula are, first we'll talk about the symmetry of flowers. If the flower is showing actinomorphic symmetry, we show a circle and a plus inside, and a zygomorphic symmetry can be shown by percentage. Just a revision, ectomorphic symmetry is radially symmetrical flower where the flower can be divisible into two equal identical halves through imaginary lines passing through the central axis from more than one plane. This is actinomorphic flower. So the symbol used is a circle and a plus. Zygomorphic flower, also called as bilateral symmetry. If you remember, you can divide this flower into two equal identical halves only through one plane, that one imaginary line. So it is shown by a symbol percentage. I hope you followed this. Now regarding the sex of the flower, if it is a male flower, we use a circle and an arrow above it. Such flower will be called as a staminate flower. If the flower is a female flower, we use this symbol, a circle and a plus below. Such flower is called as a pistillate flower. But if the flower is bisexual having both the sex organs, then that is androecium and gynoecium together, we show a double symbol, that is a circle, a arrow and a plus. So a male flower, staminate flower shown by this symbol, female flower, pistillate flower shown by this symbol, that is these are unisexual flowers, and a bisexual flower is shown by this symbol. So these symbol they are representing the sex of the flower. Symbols for the floral whorls. If the flower is having bract, then we call it as a bracteate flower. And bract, if you remember, also called as epicalyx in China rose. So bracteate flower is represented by BR. If it is E bracteate, there is no symbol. To represent the floral whorl calyx, we use English alphabet capital K. Remember students, calyx K. Members of the calyx are sepal. To represent corolla, we used capital C. Members of corolla, petals. To represent perianth, what is a perianth? Found in certain monocots where there is no differentiation between calyx and corolla, both are fused. We use the alphabet capital P to represent perianth, and we know the members of perianth are called as tepals. To represent the male reproductive whole androecium, we use capital A, and to represent female reproductive whole gynoecium, we use capital G. So just have a look, brief look. Bracteate BR, calyx K, corolla C, perianth P, androecium capital A, gynoecium capital G. Let us proceed to show the position of the ovary. If the ovary is superior ovary means ovary is at the top. So we show gynoecium and then we underline below it. This means gynoecium is at the top. Just for a revision so that you remember what is gynoecium at the top, superior ovary. You can see these floral whorls on the thalamus. At the top there is gynoecium, that is ovary style stigma, then the androecium, then the corolla, and then the calyx. So this is superior ovary shown by G underline. Half superior ovary, or we also call it as half inferior ovary. If you remember, when the thalamus becomes saucer shape or cup shape and all of them are on the same level, they are on the circumference, the corolla, the calyx, the androecium are on at the same level of that of the gynoecium, then the ovary is called as half superior and it is shown by a G and a line on the side. Inferior ovary, when the gynoecium is at the bottom and all the floral whorls are at the top. Here you can see the thalamus is deep and deeply placed inside is the ovary, and all the other floral whorls are at the top. Then we call such ovaries called as inferior ovary, and it is represented by G and a line above G. Very, very important, students. Superior ovary, G underline, half superior ovary, G and line on the side, and inferior ovary, G is below and a line above it. This is position of the ovary. Floral formula. Cohesion is indicated by enclosing the number in the bracket. What is cohesion? Cohesion is union or joining between the members of the same floral whorl. For example, calyx. Suppose a flower has 5 calyx, and suppose there are 5 calyx, so we'll write 5 calyx, and these calyx are united, the sepals are united, so we will show 5 united. What does this explain? It is gamosepalous condition. If there are corolla petals, 5 petals, and they're fused to each other, then what we call it as gamopetalous flower. Show it with a bracket. So bracket shows cohesion. What is cohesion? Cohesion is union or joining or combination, union between the members of the same whole. Adhesion is indicated by a line drawn above the floral whorls. For example, this is androecium, correct? And suppose there are 5 stamens, and these stamens are attached to 5 petals, petals corolla, and they are joined. So adhesion, union between two different floral whorls. Such condition we call it epipetalous stamens. So it is shown by such type of bracket, which is actually indicating that stamens are joined to the corolla. I hope you got this. Adhesion is indicated by a line, or we can say a bracket, which is drawn above, which is showing joining between androecium and the petals, the corolla. So this is about cohesion and adhesion. And now when we represent the flower in a diagrammatic condition, in the condition, as it is observed in a transverse section with respect to the mother axis, it is called the floral diagram. I will show you two floral diagrams, and then it will be clear to you what is a floral diagram. Look at the floral diagram. Beautiful pictures of two floral diagram. Try to understand with me. We are always comparing the floral diagram with respect to the mother axis. So this is the mother axis. What do you mean by mother axis? This is the main axis. This is the node. Here the flower is arising. So this is the mother axis, and here is place the flower. Look at flower A, look at flower B. Here in flower A, bract is present. So we say that this flower is bracteate flower. And how do we represent bracteate flower? BR. Look at the second picture B. There are no bracts, so it is E bracteate. After bract lies the second floral whorl. Which is the second next floral whorl? Calyx. Calyx is represented by K, and so K. And what are the members of the calyx called as sepals? And they are not joined to each other, they are free from each other. So what do we say? This is polysepalous condition. But look at the second B picture. These calyx, they are joined to each other. So how will we represent them? How will we explain this floral diagram? Gamosepalous condition. Gamosepalous, calyx are joined to each other. Now third floral whorl. Look at the third. This is the petals of the corolla. Here they are not fused, so they are polypetalous. Look at the petals of the bee flower. They are joined to each other, so they are gamopetalous type of flower. I hope you are getting. Look at the anthers now. Stamens. How many stamens can you see? Stamen number 1, stamen number 2, stamen number 3, stamen number 4 and 5. And they are just lying free from the petals. They are not joining to the petals. But look at this picture. Here the stamen is joined to the corolla. It is showing adhesion. So what do we call such stamen as? Epipetalous stamens. Epipetalous stamens. I hope students you are understanding. Epipetalous stamens. Stamens are attached to the petals. Last, look at the gynoecium. How many gynoecium are there? Carpels, I mean, there are 3 carpels or pistils. 1, 2 and 3, and they are free from each other, they are separate. So apocarpus condition. Apocarpus, there are 3 carpels, pistils, and they are free from each other. Whereas look over here, there is 1, 2, 3, and four carpels or pistils, and they are fused together. So it is showing syncarpous condition, syncarpous gynoecium. I repeat everything so that everything becomes clear. A picture, let us describe only a picture, and you also do with me. Bract is present, bracteate flower. Then comes calyx. Members of calyx are sepals, they are not united. So polysepalous condition. Corolla. Members of corolla are called as petals, they are not united. So polypetalous corolla. Then there are stamens and they are free from each other. Then comes the gynoecium. They are three in number and they are also free from each other. So apocarpus gynoecium. Clear? Let us describe picture B. No bract, ebracteate flower. Calyx, members of the calyx are united. Gamosepalous condition. Petals, member of the corolla are united. Gamopetalous flower. Anthers are shown joined or adhesive or they are joined to the petals. Epipetalous stamens. Look at the gynoecium. Four carpels fused together to form one ovary. Syncarpous condition. So this representation of the flower in the bud condition is called as floral diagram. You should be able to read the floral diagram, and other symbols which I explained you, they are called as the floral formula. This will help you to explain a family. So students, in next video we are going to study about family Fabaceae. Thank you.